Hey everyone, welcome to drinknectar.com. I'm your host, Josh Wade, and this is the internet's place to explore coffee and wine. Today we're heading down to an iconic vineyard slash winery in Napa Valley, in the Napa area in California. Signorello Vineyards, super high quality, great reputation. So these here I'm excited to try. 50 acres in the heart of Napa. Been around, just if you head down there, you can enjoy their tasting room, pizza on Sundays. They've got food and wine pairing seminars you can go to, working in the kitchen with their chef. Sounds like a pretty phenomenal place. Make sure you call ahead and arrange with all of those wineries in the Napa area because they can be very busy at times. The first wine we're going to jump into is a 2008 Seta, 60% Semillon, 40% Sauvignon Blanc, 10 months in French oak. Nice pale yellow straw color, very clean and clear. Wouldn't call it gold, but it is very beautiful. Let's give it a sniff. Really get some like white peaches and an interesting kind of caramel in there, which is really unique for me. Pulling it out of a blind tasting, I'd certainly be able to tell that it was spent some time in oak. So let's give it a sniff, or a sip. Wine has a great amount of acidity, which is wonderful, really refreshing in there. Not a lot of cases of this wine made, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to find about 650 cases. You have some cantaloupe, a lot of melon components in there. But you can get that toasted almonds, toasted nuts that come through that really provide a different layer of flavor, which is really a lot of times why a winemaker wants to use oak. It's not to cover over things, but it does provide a different layer of flavor in there. So overall, really impressed. I think this wine is on the higher price side for a white wine, but certainly one that you'd want to pull out for maybe a special occasion or with that special dish. The next wine we're going to try is the signature wine from Signorello, and this is a 2006, and it's 75% Cab, 17% Merlot, 8% Cab Franc. I'll give you all the details of the oak regimen in the notes. 2,500 or so cases of this wine made, clocks in at about $50. Year was this again? 2006. I can already see some browning towards the edges of the color. Very, very dark and very plum purple in there. Some interesting colors out towards the edges. It's very nice. You saw my smile. A wonderful amount of fruit on the nose. Some great deep currant flavor aromas. Some dark cherries, not just these bright fruity cherries, but some dark cherries. And you have, you can definitely, kind of a wave of oak that starts to come through in there. There's some spice, some tobacco, a lot happening on the nose of this wine. So let's give it a sip. Exactly what I would expect from this vineyard. Big and full, lush fruit in there. You got some vanilla components start to come through, but predominantly that deep, dark cherry flavors that are in there. The back end tannin, I would call it medium, and so definitely a full-bodied wine, but that back end tannin more is like that medium. It's not going to chew, it's not super chewy, but it would pair well with a lot of different foods. The Padrone, this last wine, is one of those wines that just is impressive from the stature of the bottle. You could do curls with this wine. It is so heavy, and the punt is extremely deep. You could hide a small animal in there. It's a 2006 Napa Padrone. It is 83% Cab, 12% Merlot, 5% Cab Franc. Only about 600 full cases of this wine made. Comes wrapped in a nice tissue paper and sealed with wax seal on the top. Kind of difficult to get into on those. Extremely dark. This is the darkest between the two for sure, and probably one of the darker cabs that I've seen in a while. Very reminiscent of a Syrah in here. Almost 100% opaque. You can't even see to the bottom of the glass. Let's give it a sniff. At first the nose seemed tight, but then it really opens up. It's subtle and it's elegant. It has some cranberry in there, and you really start to get that spice, which for me was lacking a little bit on the last one with some of those spices. So I know this wine spent a good 25 days of extended maceration on the skins. So let's give it a sip. Big deep fruit, lots of layers in this wine, incredibly huge, just like the last one. Yeah, you know, for $110 and $50 between these two, you know, for me, what I'm getting on this one that wasn't in this one, and this would be maybe where you'd want to, you know, weigh your options. The back end tannin on this wine is extremely big, dominant, over the top. I mean, 2006, both of these, I believe, yeah, 2006. Yeah, so this one, the extended time on the skins there, lends itself to, you can lay this down for probably 25 years. Something if this is a, you know, you have a child that was born, you want to save this, lay it down. It's probably the perfect wine to do that with. 2006, you know, something to keep in mind there. So $110, definitely out of the price range for a lot of people that probably watch this. I'm honored to be able to get a chance to review it. So I mean, I can tell you with certain authority that, you know, this wine, if you get a chance, if you see it on a menu, if you're offered it by the glass, you know, by all means purchase it, because it's a fantastic cab and exact representation of what I would expect to get from a high quality, well-made cab out of Napa, California. So cheers and drink happy.